I think it's important for any person to be able to follow their passion and do what brings them joy. If a girl is interested in fashion or if she's interested in physics, that should be valued because she's valuable. Ever since I was little, everybody in my family could tell I was going to be a scientist. I mean, my friends called me professor. And it was really more a question of what kind of science I might do. What I do now is protein engineering. I ended up getting a PhD in molecular biology and biochemistry. But when I met my husband, he was a radiologist. And he wanted to become a scientist as well. So we ended up working together in a laboratory that did imaging work. And so now the engineering that I do of proteins is usually to make things imageable. So my job is to try to build light-up machines, basically, that report on biochemical events in breast cancer. We run our lab with a lot of undergraduates in the laboratory. Right now we have 6. So a lot of my job is mentoring all day long. I do my own research, but I also assist them.
Working with Kathy is awesome. She is so helpful and encourages me to first try to solve my problems on my own and then is always there for me when I need it. She's really good at adapting her mentoring style to each individual student.
It's really exciting to me because it's never boring. There's always something new to learn, and it's such a great environment, and it's pretty dynamic, and there's a ton of interaction. Research is interesting because you have waves of, like, you're really busy with a lot of experiments, and then, you know, the next week maybe you're doing your data analysis and thinking about like what to do next and planning.
It's a little bit like you're trying to take a big epic journey, and you need to recruit other people to go along. The goal is long. Everybody has a contribution to make. The heroic part is the courage it comes to take the level of failure, to face that failure every day and put yourself out there and propose something. Without that kind of courage, you won't be curing any diseases.
We have some cell issues we're trying to solve. So basically I'm just taking care of the cells right now. We like to split them all, which means like take some out of the flask so that they can grow throughout the weekend and they don't die from being too overcrowded.
Kind of like a pet, they need to be like fed every day and split every day so there are not too many cells in a flask.
There's a whole lot of work that needs to be done in just understanding what is the breast cancer? What is it? We don't really always have a clear handle on what makes it even a cancer. I mean, you know, you think that maybe if you have breast cancer, you have one thing, but everybody's breast cancer is different. And the contribution that this type of work makes to that is to try to identify new opportunities for therapeutic targets. That's usually what this type of work is good for. So these are the breast cancer cells, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then the ones that are out here, are they the ones that are the patient cells, the normal cells?
The stromal cells.
Yeah.
Yes. We have this 2-photon microscope, which is like a big thing, what I use a lot for a lot of my experiments. And I'm able to look at cells that have different proteins tagged with different fluorescent proteins.
That's a model of how the woman's cells in her tumor that are her normal cells interact with her cancer cells, and her cancer cells interact with the normal cells, and actually they change each other to form a tumor environment. So there's more than one kind of cell in a tumor, and those tumors, they speak to the cells around them so much that they actually recruit them for help. And so that's kind of the nature of her project right now, is to chase that down. How are the cells communicating with each other? We may not be able to say for sure that the cells are dead, but we will be able to say that they're changed.
I really enjoy the experiments we've done with changing metabolism with breast cancer cells, so changing their glucose or their other nutrients, and also then applying chemotherapy drugs to those cells and seeing how your body's environment is going to affect how those drugs work.
It's almost like being able to go to another world. So it's thrilling to see what your eyes can't normally see, to be able to test it, to be able to detect it, to see that it's there. So I think it brings a sense of wonder to people. Without these kinds of positive relationships, you know, the work environment, it would be hard to get up every morning and face that kind of, you know, it's like, okay, we're going to cure breast cancer. That is a big, big goal. On a day-to-day basis, most researchers find that they can't hold that big goal up in front of them every day, or they can't face it. Once in a while you pick your head up and you look.
You have to reflect back and think, okay, what is my science today going to help with in the future?
It's inspiring, and it's definitely pushes me forward every day to be able to tell like my family members or my friends that I'm doing something in cancer research is so cool, and it's really worth it, and people care.
Kathy is a STEM hero because she is pioneer in the field. She's really good at adapting. She's one of the smartest people that I know. She is so fun to work with, and she has taught me so much, not just about science, but how to be a better person in general.
ITC, connecting consumers to their 21st century energy needs, and a proud supporter of STEM education on Detroit Public Television.